Greetings, fellow detectives, and welcome to Boiler Room Detective. The case of the snapped relief valve. The security guard called the maintenance technician at home to let him know about a water leak in the boiler room. When the tech arrived, the boiler room floor was covered with water. The source of the leak was the boiler. The technician pushed the emergency stop button at the door and approached the boiler. The entire top of the relief valve was gone, lying on the floor, still attached to the copper discharge tubing. It was cracked at a 45-degree angle. After shutting off the supply and return valves for the boiler, he called his boss to let her know they would have no heat in the morning. The tech texted me several pictures and asked if I could find a relief valve for the morning. I agreed and got online to a vendor's website, found one, and placed it on will call. I told the tech I have the relief valve on will call and will pick it up and be there first thing in the morning. The next morning, after picking up the relief valve, I drove to the building. After installing it, we reconnected the discharge piping. While I filled the system, he went around the building venting air. The system pressure stopped feeding when it reached 12 psi, perfect for a two-story building. When the burner started, I noticed the pressure on the PTA, or pressure temperature altitude gauge, started creeping up. It's normal for the pressure to raise slightly as the water warms, but not this high. I shut the valve to the makeup water off to rule that out as a culprit. The pressure kept rising. Once the pressure hit 30 psi, the pressure rating for the relief valve, water started weeping from the discharge pipe. Then I saw the issue. Rather, two issues. The first issue was the compression tank was flooded. Hydronic systems will expand about 3% of their volume when heated. The expansion of the water is managed by the air pocket in the compression tank. As the pressure rises, it compresses the air in the tank. Without an air gap on top of the tank, the pressure continued to rise. This caused the relief valve to start opening. Unlike steam pop safety valves which snap open, hydronic relief valves will open gradually. If you notice the pressure building on the pressure gauge when the burner fires, it usually indicates the compression or expansion tank is flooded. The second issue was something I should have caught when we reconnected the discharge piping. The relief valve outlet was piped into a vertical copper tube. The tube was piped to an elbow on the floor. The other end of the elbow was piped to a floor drain. When the relief valve opened to release some water, this caused the copper tubing to expand. Since one end was on the floor, the expansion force was directed at the relief valve. This constant expansion and contraction snapped the relief valve and flooded the boiler room. Think of it like bending a paperclip back and forth. To correct the problems, we drained the expansion tank until it was about 3/4 of the way full. I like the compression tank to be about halfway full when the water is cool and about 3/4 full when the water is hot. We also cut the relief valve tubing so it was not piped solid to the ground. Copper expands 50% more than black iron when heated. Under section 1006.6 in the 2018 International Mechanical Code, the following are some of the highlights of regulations that should be included. The relief valve discharge pipe cannot be directly connected to the drainage system. We know that water warmer than 140 degrees Fahrenheit cannot be discharged into a municipal drain. They want you to discharge through an air brake located in the same room as the appliance. You can't reduce the outlet pipe size of the discharge piping. It shall serve a single relief device and not connected to piping serving other relief valves. That must be new because they used to let us connect them together as long as we sized them properly. They want it discharged to the floor, to the pan serving the boiler or storage tank, to a waste receptor, or to the outdoors. Discharge in a manner that does not cause personal injury or structural damage. That's kind of a no-brainer. Discharge to a terminal point that is readily observable by the building occupants. Do not trap the outlet piping, and it has to be installed so it's able to flow by gravity. In other words, you don't want to rise up after the outlet of the relief valve. They want you to terminate it no more than 6 inches above the floor or waste receptor. The pipe that you're using to terminate it cannot have a thread connection on the end of the piping, and they don't want valves or T's. If you would like to contact me, my contact information is here. In addition, I have my 2 websites. The Brewing with Steam site has monthly blog posts on steam systems for breweries and distilleries. I have written 11 books on boilers, and they are available on Amazon. In addition, you could find some of my writings in these fine publications. Thanks for stopping by Boiler Room Detective, and I hope to see you on the next case.